20 years ago tonight, a traffic accident in Brooklyn sparked 3 days of rioting that shook the city. To this day, Crown Heights is dealing with the aftermath. CBS 2's Lou Young met survivors today, trying to make sure that tragic chapter in the city's history is never repeated.
The two men walking on a Brooklyn sidewalk represent the twin poles of a New York disaster, the catalysts of the 1991 Crown Heights riots.
It's just like yesterday to me.
Carmel Cato's son, Gavin, died when a car from an acidic motorcade ran onto a sidewalk, to the horror of onlookers.
We miss Yankel every single day.
Hours later, Norman Rosenbaum's brother, Yankel, was knifed to death to a chorus of anti-Semitic slurs. Anger and fear ruled the night as the twin tragedies became an excuse for mayhem.
The tragedy was that the lives which had been lost paled into insignificance.
The violence shocked the city. No one more than Richard Green, a community activist and organizer who watched his neighborhood turn into a battleground.
The Hasidic youth were coming from the west side, from Kingston Avenue coming towards Albany Avenue, and the black youth were coming from Utica, Troy, Schenectady towards them. It was coming from both places.
Really?
It was coming from both places.
For Jewish residents, it was an echo of centuries of persecution. For blacks, it was a manifestation of their own historic burden. Carmel Cato says he was treated like a criminal on the very night his son died.
I was treated very roughly at the precinct. I was chased out of the precinct.
So you felt that there was problems independent of outsiders?
From the beginning.
It was a common complaint. The police were never able to find a balance. Rough one moment, passive the next.
I remember the famous word, vent. Let the crowd vent. And that was the tragedy. Because violence was not stopped immediately, it just went on and on and on.
Mayor David Dinkins pleaded with young people to leave the streets. He visited the Cato family at their home on the second day of the riots, and it ended badly. I was standing here when on his way out he was nearly hit by a thrown bottle and his motorcade whisked him away. The streets of Crown Heights were out of control. Many believe that summer cost David Dinkins his job. A state report criticized the police response, and two communities talk more now than ever. Not always agreeing, but sitting to exchange views, just like Norman Rosenbaum and Carmel Cato. In Brooklyn, Lou Young, CBS 2 News.
NYPD records from the Crown Heights riots indicate 151 people in total were arrested, 145 were black, 6 were Hasidic.